Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 12th. And of course, a little bit of softening as far as the acceleration from the Trump trade goes, at least in certain sectors from the ES standpoint. Still pretty strong from a DOC rating standpoint. Short-term buyers on the DOC here faded off, but cyan well under red, and red continued to rise well above zero, shakeout in line. Of course, still all positive extremes, so we'll keep that in mind for when the first softness comes, and it will come. It's just a question of waiting for that signal to happen. But for now, it's all green at this particular stage. It's going to be a little tougher because, until the short interest, as it starts to rise, when it gets a little further here, you'll have more of an impetus for that drive down. And when it happens, it won't be all that dramatic given what we've seen. It'll be called profit taking when it does occur. Oil continuing its fade, that's definitely a help. Long way to go. And of course, like we said, it's going to have fits and spurts until the actual transfer happens. But significant amount of movement just on the idea of what Trump's proposing. Of course, there's going to be that camp that thinks that the tariffs and those ideas are inflationary, but they're completely wrong, and that's not how that works. But never stopped them from being wrong before, so we're fine with that because it just allows for opportunity. And that's the beauty of people making mistakes, just like those who thought that the euro could survive, uh, in a Trump presidency in this particular case, particularly in a tariff environment. As you can see, we expected this implosion, and now you're getting into the danger zone. Where it gets hard for the euro to even keep a parity situation because the situation there is completely the opposite of where the direction of America is going to go. You're going to be seeing much higher growth from U.S. side of things and a stagflationary nothing in Europe. Well, no one's going to want euros. The only benefit for them at this particular stage is falling oil. Um, but relative to growth, it's not going to have much of an impact. Gold, of course, suffering from this idea of what will be a non-inflationary environment. Of course, some people are going to see it the opposite of that way, so you may get some variance. But what we expected from crypto was lightning, and it's exactly what we got. The bicycle that we got back, from the lower parts of the 60 range here, proving to be very effective from that standpoint. And you can see it's exploding on its way to over 100K, which will throw a lot of people into a tizzy. But say a lot of the ETH also exploding in the same relative. So now they're sort of caught up. But as you can see, that Bitcoin making new highs versus ETH, which is not. And that's just a reflection of preference and adoption. People prefer the store of Bitcoin, relatively speaking, and of course, that's obviously got to get turned into a mainstream thing. They believe that Trump is going to do that for them. That remains to be seen yet. Um, we'll wait. We'll wait, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a perfect store for money outside of regular fiat currencies. And as you can see, there's a lot more volatility in regular currencies than there is relative to the idea of holding something outside of them, particularly as the flux of change continues its evolution. And I think that is only going to be compounded in the difficulties because there's going to be a hard choice people are going to have to make between their fears versus the reality. And that's going to make some really interesting things, and particularly now the House has been decided. So all three branches are Republican, and it's just a question of what the level of majorities and how strong that is. So things are developing much faster than in 2016, obviously because of the experience. So you're going to see a lot of developments happening quickly, and a lot of this pre-trade definitely is going to get sold off at some point in between, particularly as the wrangling starts. But overall, everything's pretty much going as we expected, so can't complain about any of that. We'll just continue to follow the readings, go from there. As always, anything relevant, I'll put on the Skype chat for you. Trade well.